Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics when it comes to leadership and personal development, and that's how to instantly boost your emotional intelligence. If you want to lead with confidence, build strong teams, and really stand out at work, you need to watch this video. So what is exactly emotional intelligence? Well, emotional intelligence is your ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions, as well as influencing other people's emotions. It's like having a superpower when it comes to relationships. And you can imagine how powerful this is in workplace when you can not only recognize your own emotions and manage them well and not react to situations, but also influence the emotions of a team when especially during times of pressure, tight deadlines, or conflict. There are 5 key pillars when it comes to emotional intelligence. The first one is self-awareness, then self-regulation, empathy, social skills, and the last but not least is motivation. In today's video, I'm going to go through each of these pillars and provide real workplace examples for each, as well as providing actionable strategies and framework so you can enhance each of these pillars right away today. Self-awareness, the leadership superpower. Let's start with self-awareness, which is the foundation of emotional intelligence. Self-awareness basically means that you recognize your emotions and understand how they impact you as well as others. Here's an example. Once I was under a tight timeline and I was quite stressed out. And I went to this team meeting and somebody criticized my work. Now, at that point, I was sleep deprived. I was under quite a lot of pressure, and it's happened during the time when I wasn't focused on my well-being and I was just driving things without taking a break for myself. And that criticism with that tone really made me to react and basically not really recognize and understand my emotion at that point, and just seeing that criticism more as a threat. And I remember after that, it obviously had consequences from the mood of the team, the mood of the meeting, and from collaboration standpoint. And I had to go back and repair some damages. But also I remember I had a conversation with my mentor about this specific incident. And he mentioned that when I just joined the workforce, or anyone, what matters is the IQ. If you are a dedicated person, you really focus on your work, heads down, deliver, standing out when it comes to the quality of your work, the timeliness of your work, that's what matters. But as you go up the ladder of leadership, you're gonna be expected to move more from the IQ to gain more and more EQ. And especially when you get to the mid-career level, you're expected to pretty much all be EQ. Nobody cares about your delivery per se. And it's not about what you deliver and when you deliver. It's mostly become how you deliver something, how you influence others around you. So here's an actionable tip for you. Start a daily emotion log for 1 week. Whenever you feel frustrated, anxious, proud, or even joyful, jot it down. Over time, you'll start noticing patterns in your emotional responses. This will help you understand your triggers and strengths. To make the logging of the emotion easier for you, I recently found an app that's called Finch. And it's quite easy to just, at any moment of the day, if you feel down, if you feel stressed, if you feel joyful, to just go, it's just a click of a button and you log your emotion. And then over time, you can review it as you collect data to see, is there a specific time of the day or a specific time of the month or a specific type of situation and events that make me stressed out. And that's just gonna help you to manage not only your emotions, but also be ready for certain events that's happening, and you're gonna be probably a little bit stressed out. Why does self-awareness matter so much? It's because when you know yourself, that inspires trust, and people want to follow a leader who is grounded and self-reflective. So make this a habit. Become the master of your own emotions. Self-regulation. staying cool under pressure. Now, let's talk about self-regulation, which is one of the most valuable skills you can gain when it comes to emotional intelligence. It's especially super helpful when you're under stress, such as tight deadlines, negative feedback, or even conflict. Imagine this. You're in a meeting, you've been working really hard to provide a solution, and the meeting is already tense, the team is under tight deadline, and somebody provides a criticism to your solution that feels like they're throwing a wrench at the last minute when you don't have even the time to go back and do anything. Most of people react impulsively when it comes to those type of situations, especially under pressure. And that's exactly what you should avoid. Instead, you need to pause and just collect yourself and then respond thoughtfully. Try the pause, breathe, respond method. Give yourself a moment to gather your thoughts. Take a deep breath to center yourself. Choose a thoughtful response rather than reacting impulsively. So here's your challenge. Try this method next time when you're in a difficult situation and let me know in the comment how it goes. Also, if you're looking for more strategies and framework, how to deal with difficult situation, I summarized the book Performance Under Pressure. You can watch that video here when I go through several different methods how to deal with this type of difficult situations. Empathy, your secret weapon. Next up, we have empathy, which is one of the most powerful aspects of emotional intelligence. Most of people think about empathy as when somebody is telling us something that they're not happy about it, that we smile at them and we say, yeah, we understand. But empathy is way beyond that. It's about active listening. It's about understanding others' emotions and need and try to help them while we're putting ourselves in their situation, and only if they're asking for help, by the way, and not just problem solving for them without they're even asking for it. And it's about building trust and stronger relationships through this empathy. So I remember once that one of my colleagues was talking to me and they were talking about a personal situation that they had, which wasn't pleasant, and they weren't happy about it. They're quite stressed out about it. And I used to be a problem solver, one of those people that somebody talks to me about something and I'm like, yeah, I've been in that same situation and this is how I solved it and you should do the same. Try it and see how it's going to be helpful. And probably the person, in most of the cases, they're like, well, I'm not asking for your solution. I just need someone to listen to me. They might not say that out loud, but in most of the cases, that's probably how people feel. But I remember it was just around the time when I started to really focus around emotional intelligence and learning active listening. So in that specific situation, I stopped myself from problem solving and I started to be really in the moment, actually listening and not preparing my answers in my brain, and mirroring, which is another very strong tool. And so they were talking about how stressed they are, and I started asking them, mirroring what they say, and say, oh, you were stressed? And how do you really feel about this project? And it really helped them to open up and talk about the issue in a way as if they were thinking out loud and as if they were exploring the root cause of the problem that they had and coming up with the solutions that was useful for them. And after that specific conversation, we just built a much stronger bond, and I become that person with the trust that this person would come to me when they had an issue. Here's a simple action step for you. Practice active listening in your next one-on-one. When the other person speaks, pause, summarize what they said, and ask open-ended questions like, how are you really feeling about this project? This small act shows you care and helps build a stronger bonds with your team. Drop it in the comment if you're interested to know more about active listening, mirroring, and some other great tools and strategies, how to help empathize with someone, not only in a conversation of work or a personal conversation, but also in some of the difficult situations like a conflict or in a negotiation when the stakes are high. Social skills, building influence. Now let's move on to the social skills, which are crucial for building influence and for building a strong professional and personal relationships. The truth is, strong relationships drive results. They help to manage conflict across departments within team. And that really comes when you try to connect with someone at a human level, beyond just asking about projects and status updates, and try to really treat them like a human. Although it's much easier if you're extrovert, you're gonna be a natural at building relationships, but you don't have to be an extrovert. All you need to do is to find ground common with other people in your team. You don't need to go big. You can try to connect with someone once a week over coffee, especially over lunch, and build those stronger relationships. Every time I see a back and forth email, when it's clear that there's a confusion, there's a concern, there's a misunderstanding somewhere, either within my team or across departments, the first thing I do before adding to that back and forth email, before setting up a big, large meeting and kind of try to bring everyone to alignment, I pick up the phone. I call the most influential person that I see in the email, if it's across departments, in the other department, and I try to understand their concern or the confusion or the misunderstanding, and through personal relationships try to solve the problem. Not even solving the problem, just calm the situation and listen to them and let them know that we're very open to their feedback, and then set up a meeting with everyone when the egos and emotions are already a little bit managed. And then those type of meetings are usually end up being very successful when everybody comes to the meeting with open mind and try to really listen to each other and identify that roadblock, solve it together collaboratively, and move forward. Try this framework when you want to build a relationship with someone new on the team. Find common ground. Maybe you both love coffee or have similar career goals. Ask about their goals. People love to talk about what they're passionate about. Offer help. Don't just talk about your goals. Offer to support theirs. Although just meeting someone once is not going to build a strong relationships, but it's a great start. Set a goal. Connect with at least one new person this week and practice these steps. Building those relationships will make you stand out. Motivation. Leading yourself first. The final pillar is the motivation. And here we're not talking about those type of motivations with high external rewards. We're talking about motivation, especially during tough times when the external rewards are not in sight. And it's really difficult to just be motivated with seeing those external rewards. It's about having that strong why within that would motivate you and help you to pass through those tough times. I'm going to give you a personal example. When I was transitioning from being a geologist to a banking leader, my why wasn't about the paycheck or even about the prestige. It was about the mental challenge that I was craving for and the type of influence and impact that I wanted to have. It was not an easy transition. It was quite difficult. I had to polish my resume over and over again. I had to go and meet so many people, network with people almost every day, just to hear, no, you don't have this skill set, this doesn't make sense. And if I didn't have that a strong why, I would have quit maybe week 4. But the strong why that I had kept me going for almost a year before I succeeded. Here's a tip. Write down your leadership vision. What impact do you want to have on your team, your company, or the world? The more specific you get, the more motivated you'll feel. And remember, motivation is contagious. So if you show up at work in the morning with a strong motivation coming from within and that positive energy, that's going to positively impact your team, your boss, the office, and the opposite is also true. If you don't take care of your ambitions and your why, if you don't take care of your well-being and you come with depleted energy, that's also contagious, especially for your team, and your team gonna notice it, and that's gonna impact the mood of everyone. To wrap up, here are the 5 pillars of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, social skills, and motivation. Now it's your turn. Choose one of these pillars to focus on this week and drop it in the comments. Which one do you think it's gonna have the biggest impact on your work? And if you want to learn more about emotional intelligence, there's a book that called Emotional Intelligence, Why It Matters More Than IQ. I'm going to drop the link in the description if you want to order your copy. And if you want to learn more about how to get promoted, I have a video when I go through 7 secrets on how to get you promoted. Till next time.